I would say it's a crab pasta. Thick cut udon noodles. We're gonna be using jumbo lump, garlic and ginger and some lemon and some sweet herbs and like a miso butter sauce. Hey guys, I'm Devin with Rising Tiger, and today we're gonna be doing a jumbo lump and udon noodle dish. You can find this at most grocery stores. I recommend going to Whole Foods. This is jumbo lump blue crab from Maryland, the best one. So that's gonna be the back legs. So the two back legs where the swimmers are, you're gonna break those apart, and those are the two really nice big morsels. So that's why it's also the most prized, because there's only two in each one. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna toast some breadcrumbs. We're gonna start about a tablespoon of olive oil on a medium and low heat pan. And we're gonna drop a little bit of like a half a cup of breadcrumbs. We're gonna also add some parsley and a heavy pinch of salt. And we're using kosher salt today. We're gonna stir this all just to get a little bit of that oil coated all over the breadcrumbs. And again, this will be on medium-low heat, and we're gonna move it to the side. We have some salted warm water here. These are already pre-cooked, and we're just gonna drop them until they start to loosen and soften. So here's our breadcrumbs that are toasting up really nicely. And again, we're just gonna agitate them, move them around so they don't burn. This will take about 5 minutes or so. Move around the noodles, the udon noodles, until they start to loosen, but just be careful, don't break them. They are a little fragile. So these are starting to break up apart nicely. We're actually just gonna move them off the heat, let them sit in the hot water, and then we're gonna start on our sauce. So we get another skillet. See, our breadcrumbs are actually getting really nice and toasty. So other skillet on medium heat, about 2 tablespoons of oil. As that gets to heat or gets to temperature, we're gonna add garlic, ginger, and leeks, and we're gonna sweat all that down together. About a whole leek, and we just julienne these, and then we soak them in water and agitate it in some ice water. It helps get all the dirt out, cleans the leek, and gets it really nice and crispy for us to saute. So you can see our breadcrumbs are getting real nice and toasty. When it gets to be about this, we're gonna turn off the heat and just let the residual heat kind of cook the rest of it or toast the rest of it. So we'll put that off to the side as well. We're gonna start with our leeks first. So this is about half a cup of leeks. Do a pinch of garlic, which is about a tablespoon, and about a teaspoon of ginger. We're gonna add some salt to sweat all of this out. This will help get all the water out of the leeks and everything. Shake our pan, agitate everything. Just make sure that the garlic doesn't burn. After we turned off our breadcrumbs, everything is nicely evenly toasted. This dish is not gluten-free. That's all the gluten you can imagine, which makes it better. That's what they tell me. So once our leeks have sweated, got a little translucent, soft, the garlic and ginger has kind of let its aroma come up. We're gonna add our miso paste. We're using brown rice miso. You can find this at Whole Foods. You can find it at, I believe, Kroger as well. If you can't find anything Asian, just go to H Mart. This is very powerful, so we're gonna do a half a tablespoon of miso. We're gonna add it right to our pan. I like to treat miso kind of like tomato paste. You're gonna wanna cook out the miso, right? You're gonna wanna cook all these the funk and everything out of it. So that takes about 30 seconds or so. Now we have all this nice fond right here too, which is from our leeks, our garlic, our ginger, and our miso paste. We're gonna want to deglaze with some white wine. You can use whatever you want. Pinot Grigio, Riesling, Chardonnay, stuff that you want to drink, right? That's always rule of thumb. And we're gonna deglaze about a half a cup of white wine. So you can see at the bottom of this, it's pulled up all that fond that we're talking about, all the things that were caramelized to the bottom of that pan. We have our noodles here, our udon, that has been reconstituted. It's nice and soft, it's loose. We're gonna take some of this pasta water. I'm gonna do 3 spoonfuls, that's about 3 tablespoons. That's gonna help break up the acidity and the acridness of the miso paste, and it's gonna break up the acidity of the wine. We're gonna give this a little taste, see where we're at. So this is pretty salty still from the miso paste, a little sour from the wine still. So we're gonna add a little bit more of this pasta water. And this pasta water is gonna have some starch to it, so it's gonna help thicken our sauce. So let's just say a half a cup for this whole dish. I'm gonna grab some cream. We're gonna bind this dish all together, some cream and a little bit of some lemon. We want to keep the jumbo lump as clean and as fresh as possible. When I say fresh, fresh tasting, we have to remember that crab is really delicate. It's soft in its texture, but it's also very mild. It's sweet, right? Especially blue crab, Maryland blue crab. It's very sweet. And fun fact, actually, the reason the Maryland blue crab is so sweet, in the Chesapeake, the waters are so cold, they're the only crab to hibernate. So they actually bury deep into the mud, and they have fat pockets and fat reserves, and that's what makes them so sweet and so sought after. 95% of Maryland blue crabs are actually eaten in Maryland. They don't make it out. And everything else is picked and sent mostly to Louisiana, Alabama, that kind of Pensacola area of the United States, the Gulf. We're gonna add a little bit of cream. This is gonna help the richness of the cream is gonna help kind of mellow everything else out, because we have a lot of strong flavors here. We have miso, we have the leeks, garlic, and ginger. Once we add our cream, we're gonna add our udon noodles. And we're gonna add it straight from the pasta water. That's gonna help thicken our sauce as well. And don't be too afraid if you feel like a lot of this pasta water is kind of getting in there. Again, that's gonna thicken the sauce. Once we get that in there, we're gonna just toss it so everything is well incorporated. Let that cook together for a minute or two. Taste. That's great. We're gonna add some lemon. And this is cook with intuition, right? So if you like things a little bit more sour, a little more sweet, just follow your heart. Toss that a little bit more. And then we're gonna mount this with butter. So mounting is just a French technique. It is to help things get thick and creamy. Listen, for you judging me, butter and crab goes well together. So we're gonna do about like 2 large tablespoons. And as soon as we add that to our noodles, we're gonna wanna just move that all around. And if it starts to feel a little bit too thick, go and add some more of that pasta water. But we really want to well incorporate this block of butter that we've just added. And you can see that everything's starting to get really thickened and all the sauce is actually adhering to the noodles. Now, a lot of people would say I'm crazy for this, but what I like to do from here is I like to add some jumbo lump here. You have some pieces come to you while you're eating, and then we'll actually add some on top. So we'll incorporate a little bit of that, and then we're gonna add some on top. We're gonna plate this nicely. And don't worry if it seems really brown. It's what we call ugly delicious. Clean up our plate. We're gonna drop some more pieces of jumbo lump here, just so you know what you're eating. Everything is always hot. Always use a rag for everything. We have our breadcrumbs. We have the soft meatiness of the crab. We have the udon that's really bouncy and chewy. And then we're gonna have this crispy breadcrumb. So we're gonna add this right onto the top. And I personally like to kind of overload it because I like the textural difference. Once we add that all to the top, we're just gonna add a little bit more parsley. If you feel like you haven't seasoned it enough, or you have some picky friends, in-laws, whatever you like to call it, you can serve with a lemon wedge. And that's it. It's pretty fire.